My biggest task was to show a young, innocent face to the media. I wrote articles for the magazine and recorded messages for the official hotline. I was trained to recruit others, to flirt with new recruits, and chat up seniors who might donate money. Within weeks, I became the Heritage Front's only female spokesperson and the softer, feminine face of the group. In December 1991, I made my first speech at a Heritage Front rally. I was still 16 years old. By the next year, I represented Canada's far right on the Montel Williams show, sitting next to John Metzger of White Aryan Resistance. Wolfgang signed my parental consent form.
Let's get the word out.
One of the Heritage Front members Bristow recruited for his phone harassment campaign was Elisa Hategan, a frequent speaker at the neo-Nazi meetings.
A certain vile, alien people have taken control of our country. When the day comes, we will not ask you whether you swung to the right or whether you swung to the left. We will simply swing you by the neck. This is war.
But in the fall of 1993, Elisa Hategan walked away from the Heritage Front and turned against her former comrades. She then became a victim of Bristow's harassment. Finally, she filed over 30 affidavits with the Ontario Provincial Police, detailing, among other things, Bristow's central role in Heritage Front activities. Police sources say CSIS panicked.
When Elise came out and said she was going to tell the truth, CSIS was saying they were going to go out and discredit her, because Elisa Hategan was pointing the finger at Grant Bristow. He ordered this, he masterminded that. I remember Al Tredenik was really livid over the thing. He said, "We'll tear her to shreds."
The OPP never acted on Hategan's affidavits, but it was the beginning of the end for Grant Bristow. CSIS's man in the Heritage Front was getting too much publicity, too much heat.
So that's interesting. But the part that I think is interesting and of note is right here where it says before they did the charge, they completed a CSIS deconfliction for Zog. A response was received with no issues. Well, what's deconfliction? I looked it up. Deconfliction is essentially a term used by police forces. It was coined in 1979, and it deals with agencies having overlap over one another. So they basically, what this means is that the RCMP are aware that within the Patriot movement, there are individuals that may be working for CSIS to try and manipulate the public into thinking specific ways, or who knows what for, maybe to gather information on the viewers. But the point is, they felt that they had to conduct a deconfliction. So buyer beware on the content, the Canadian content that you take in online. Because I mean,
few guys in the woods I've never met, never talked to, never heard of them in my life, doing videos in the woods with masks and guns and rifles. All of them the ones yet to be banned, by the way. So they were all legal, non-restricted rifles. I thought that was cute. Reading a script that sounds like it was probably written by somebody at CSIS or the RCMP. Like, is this what right-wing guys talk like? Is this what they say? It was really embarrassing. But, however, the key takeaway that I found was that they said this is a call to arms while holding guns in the woods at night on a video with masks on. That's an illegal phrase to say. That's a charge. That's an offense in Canada. A call to arms, like verbatim. He said it like as per the criminal code would need you to say for something like that. And these accounts were trying to wiggle their way into the community and kept commenting on videos and streams and this kind of thing while posting this kind of content. So you see where this is going, how they're doing this poison well scenario. Or if not, they're just a bunch of knuckleheads in the wood. Like, I don't know these guys. I'm not taking responsibility for this. I'm not having people go down for some idiot, you know? So I called them on the shit, and I called the RCMP and I said, hey, you seeing this? You know who these guys are? You gonna do anything about that? You're gonna keep fucking me around? Huh? Yeah. You know what? I reported that, and the police never called me back. They never looked into anything. No charges were laid either. Not that I'm aware. Nothing ever happened with that. It all just kind of went away. Isn't that strange? Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Yeah. There's things you can, you know. But there is a story here going around about this, how I'm a snitch, you see. I'm working with the feds. I'm fucking ratting people out. You know, that shit. I called the RCMP and I said, hey, you seeing this?
We need to make trains trains are our greatest ally in the war against Bajeets, honestly. I don't think we have, like, who else? The Pakistanis? I don't really want to ally with them, but trains I can get with. What about tigers? Are they on our side? How many? 126. Okay, not bad. About one every 3 days. About once every 3 days, a tiger kills an Indian. They're on our team. Let's go. Tony, make sure you clip this one so you can watch me laugh at Indians getting run over by fucking trains. Woo! That was a pull start. Oof.
Because I looked into this at one point. At one point, I was looking at getting into, like, becoming an intelligence officer in the military, and then I was looking at CSIS because it's something that just interested me, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized,
well, when you grow up believing in the system and everything else, yeah, seems like an interesting job, you know.
So, like, I looked at it, and it's like, well, you can have done marijuana, but you can't have done it in the last 2 years or whatever it is, right? And it's like, and you have to explain how many times you've done it and what the circumstances were and why you, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole spiel on it. And it's when I
But yeah, expect them to reach out to you.
Funny enough, I do know, I'm from Ottawa originally, right? So, like, a lot of people I know, well, obviously I know a lot of people in the area, but I know at least 2 people, maybe 3. I don't know if one still does, but I have known 3 people that work for CSIS 2 actively that I know of. And, like, it's like they're
right on.
Not that I don't know them, like, it's through a degree of separation, right? So,
okay.
Like, I know, like, you know, through one of my friends, I know somebody that works there. So, like, sometimes I wonder, I was like, do they know? Like, are they the one? Just like curious, is this person that knows me, like, charged with watching me, just like, Alex, what the fuck you doing?
Right. I imagine there's a few people. It's wow. Like you don't. We're not just saying it anymore. You know what I mean? Like you say, oh, hi feds, whatever, or hi alphabet agencies. I could actually say their name if I wanted to, and I don't believe that that's their real names. Like that's probably a stage name, or what would they call it? A pseudonym or something. Yeah, it's fucking a stage name.
They're actors.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's true, right? Like we've been joking about that for a while, and like I used to joke, like, whoever my agent is, I hope I make them laugh. Like I hope they're enjoying the time they get to spend with me, and I hope that some small part of them knows that I'm not a bad person. And that they're kind of coming around and like, they're like, yeah, okay, I like these guys. These are I'm with them. I want some small part of you is like, yeah, these guys are awesome.
They're not stupid people. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot say that about them. They're not inept or.
No.
Like I said, they were the most engaged people I've ever talked to before.
They're definitely not stupid because they would be passing some high level, a wide variety of IQ tests to get where they are. You don't get to.
I would hope so.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You don't get to those positions without certain standards for IQ. Like even so, the military, right? If you join the military, you take the Canadian Forces Aptitude Test, right? The CFAT. It's an IQ test. They don't call it an IQ test because they're legally not allowed to call it an IQ test because that would be hate, right? But it's
discrimination.
An IQ test. If you've done an IQ test and you've done the CFAT, you know that the CFAT is an IQ test. It is. And the reason they do that is because they have certain standards, right? You need to reach these. If you don't get these scores in these categories, you're not qualified, or you don't have the basic necessities that you need to do this trade in the military. And intelligence in the military has one of the highest standards. So I would imagine that CSIS's standards are like a notch up from that. And like, they're not stupid people. Like, don't assume that they are. They might be drones. They might be NPC types that just, like you can be smart and like an automaton, right? So like,
it's putting puzzles together, but I mean that's kind of their job, right? But again, like I said, I have nothing bad to say about them, to be honest. Like I walked away feeling like it was a net positive, like it was a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, the other thing is too, like I'm sure that unlike say the RCMP, I'm sure that CSIS is actually some very high quality people, because there's the IQ aspect of it too, but there's also the character evaluation, right? The previous history, like they're probably model citizens.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in some of the counter arguments to that, though, because as we're seeing what's happening in Ottawa right now, as I noted earlier, this past week we saw the protests and the blockades, and in Surrey, BC, at the crossing near the Pacific Highway, we saw it in Coutts.
Exactly. What do you guys feel about, obviously the mixed race kids thing is an issue for a lot of people, but I mean in the sense that, like, say somebody 10 years ago has had, say they had kids with somebody, like a Brazilian woman or something, or somebody from fucking, Libya or whatever. I'm just throwing random examples. 10 years later, they go through this process and realize what the world really is and what's actually going on. How do you navigate that with someone like that? Like, what are they supposed to do? Execute their own children, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's a tough one. So I'm just curious if anybody has had experience with this, or has dealt with this before, or knows how to handle that.